Hey folks, this is pecktec. I'm back again. I've got a few products. Now this was, I get people offering to send me products quite a lot. Some of them are fake and some of them are legit. There are a lot of different companies from around the world that would like their products on display, and I rarely select any to respond to. These folks reached out to me, and I saw this filter and I thought it looked pretty fascinating. Plus, I pretty much always have a heater that's looking a little old and feeling questionable, so I went ahead and I picked up one of their heaters as well. I'm going to unbox these things and take a look at it. It's going to be a first impressions video. Obviously, I haven't had time to use these things. I'm in no way advocating that you go out and buy any of these unless you just want to try it yourself. So this isn't a review, and I'd like that to be really clear. It's not a review. I'm pulling these out to open it and take a look at it, and the review will come later on down the road. I do follow up with my videos, especially usually in the update videos. The last update I did was a little less verbose, but I do update videos on products that I unbox and talk about them later. So I guess the best thing to tell you is subscribe, so you don't miss that when I finally do come back and say, I loved it, or it was terrible. In fact, I usually get things like this for a project. I've had a lot of people after me to try to make a biokinesis basket, which is kind of a sort of a canister filter. Well, there's a bunch of different ways to do it, but one way that a lot of people do it is they take a canister filter and they kind of engineer it with cat litter and a number of other things. There's a fairly healthy debate going on about whether or not that's even a viable way to filter your tank, and I don't want this video to be about that. But I did buy these kind of thinking that people that want to try that might have some options here. So if you're someone that's been wanting to try a BCB basket, let's take a look at it through that lens. And if you're just kind of a canister filter nerd, which I think the rest of us are also, this might tickle your fancy too. So let's open this thing up and take a look, and I'll show you why I was so interested. What's funny is no time in the discussion of these products did I ever go, hey, how do you pronounce the name of your company? And I think this is Aquael. Aquael, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm probably saying it really badly. Oh, and I apologize too. So this is a heater that's appropriate for 9 to 20 gallons, and it is what? Does it say the wattage? Well, it says it keeps the temperature in the range of 68 to 94 degrees. It's the Ultra Heater 75 Professional. Smart heating system, unbreakable, 2-in-1 electronic heater and thermometer. Okay, let's take a look at that. Oh, okay, so it's got some light indicators. Convenient temperature adjustment. Functional double-sided hanger. Tested and calibrated at Aquael's laboratory. Unbreakable, super thin, optimal heat distribution. Okay. Let's take a look inside though. All right. Not a lot of packing material in there. Of course, they've already said it was indestructible. But there's something stuck in there. What is it? Oh, it's the instructions. Should I even bother? There we go. I might need those later. I'll keep them. Okay. I need to quit being a bad example. All right. So, wow. Actually, you know, I said, yeah, send me a heater because I wasn't prepared to be very impressed. But man, this is thin. This would be so much easier to work into things than most heaters that I get. And wow, I gotta say, I'm already impressed just with the shape of this. I was already thinking, yeah, for a heater this size, it seems like it's in a big box. But no, it's pretty neat. And I like that this, so they say this mounting is dual mounted. So I'm going to pull this off if I can. I probably should read the instructions. Let's see, let me take a look at it. Does that come off like that? How does this come off? Yeah, so this mount slides off, and you can put it on like this. Look at that. So if you wanted to, oh, and the suction cups are real smart too. They got the little hook here. Whack. Put it on. Now you can mount this up in your aquarium and see the temperature gauge. So I think what happens, there's LEDs all around this thing here, and the thermometer part of this is that it's going to light up and tell you what temperature it is. Now there might be even other things in here that kind of go into yeah, whether or not it's heating or it's cooling or something like that. Very, very neat. What's interesting too is I don't really see a dial. This doesn't move. This little thing here, this is on there. It does have a click button, so I think what you do is you probably get this in the water and you click it over to what you need it to be, and then it kind of moves towards that temperature, and you can leave this up in your window so you can see what temperature you're running at, and kind of take out the thermometer part. Of course, then you're looking at this big huge thing, so maybe there's a discrete part of your tank you want to stick this in. Or maybe you want to put this in the traditional way, mount the suction cups to where they go to the back, and stick this in the back of the tank and just kind of peer through there and see what you need to see. Or hide it altogether. If you don't even want to see any of these lights or anything like that, a lot of people just want it to be nothing. You could totally black it out by just mounting it backwards and sticking it into the tank. So that's pretty neat. Pretty neat. I like it. Different. Something a little different, and I like that. I'm going to keep it with these instructions, that I'll eventually read these instructions, and I'm gonna stick this in a tank somewhere, probably next week, and I'll follow up with that later. All right, now we have the Aquael Multicon Multicon. Is that right? Multicon 800. Wow, that sounds like it's from the future, doesn't it? It's a really cool looking package we got here. Multi-purpose, unlimited expand. I'm not sure you used the right words there. Unlimited expandability is probably what you wanted there, but obviously wouldn't fit. So I believe the idea with this canister filter is that you can attach these attachments, and these are, I asked for a couple of other attachments to go on. So you can put this thing together and kind of add other attachments to augment the way it filters. So with the attachments across the top here, it lists all the different things that can be. Apparently these are all pre-made attachments. I was kind of under the impression that maybe they had blank ones too, so you could add your own media. And of course you could probably take the media out of whatever's in here and add your own. But this one's got, the two I got here are Bioceramics Pro and Zeomax Pro, Zeomax Plus. So those are the two extra cartridges here. This one's come out of the packaging. We'll take a closer look at this in just a second. Let's go ahead and open the Multicon first and kind of take a look inside and see what we got going on. Taking a little... But before I do, I'll take a quick look here. We got innovative thread chamber, water pressure tightness guarantee, easy open system with smart keys, effective pump inside or outside the aquarium, effective silent pump inside or outside the aquarium, handy bypass and aqua stop system, add or remove media without leakages. And it's got a little diagram for how you install it. Oh, look at that. They do sell this media that's inside of here. They do sell it separately, so that's interesting. Okay. Now I'm really curious, and we're going to have to take a look inside this box. Let's see what we got. Alright, so we have various hoses. Our Lady of various hoses. And looks like the primary unit itself. Set that aside. Hose. Some paperwork. Some instructions. And the power brick. We'll put this over here picturesquely to the side and take a look at this stuff. Alright, so if you get the box set, you get one of these. Let's take a look at this first. Alright, so it looks like, okay, so look, it's got a pump. And from the diagrams, it looks like you could put this either inside the tank. So if you want to put this inside the tank with like a pre-filter or something, you can. Or you can put it outside the tank. You can mount it outside the tank and start a siphon into here. And this will just keep the water flowing through, I guess. Or it'll provide some more push, so that it'll push it out from inside the canister filter back into the tank. So that's really interesting. You don't see these things separated from the main unit very often. Let's see what's in this bag of various parts. Of course, we've got some hose. And it's actually split in two already. That's kind of interesting. Usually you get one big hose. So this is already cut. Looks like they're the exact same length. About this much. I'm guessing that's about 4 feet. And as we dig into here, we have the standard little candy cane type things that you use for your input and output on most canister filters. We got some sort of a sponge, some sort of type of filter. We got suction cups. What we got here? All right, so in this bag we've got a number of little spare parts. We've got some little clips that you can attach suction cups to, and that will that'll hold on these hoses and stuff on the side. We've got some smaller suction cups that I believe go for the pump. They'll go into this pump thing. In fact, I'll go and put them on there. So some little suction cups for the pump part. And they twist on in a neat way. Usually it's like a circle that you kind of wedge in there. These have a little rectangle, or I guess it's a rectangle. Yeah, they have a rectangle. And you just put it in one way and then twist, and then they're on there. It looks like we got one extra one. Okay. Then we got some tubing, which no doubt, these are all kind of the same tube, so my guess is you could just add these to the end of either of these things. Perhaps not. Oh, they've also got some little adapters, so I bet that fits on. When that goes on, boy, half the fun is just figuring out how this stuff is supposed to work. We've got a little intake protector. And how does that go on? Maybe this was meant to go this way. So I've been playing with all these little plastic parts that I've made. I've constructed an intake and a return, although I think this is actually supposed to go like maybe like this. Yeah, there we go. So intake and a return, and there's a few more parts here. If you got an especially deep tank, you can make this a little bit deeper. You could probably use it to extend this too to a different depth if you wanted. So we've got all that, and some suction cups, and more options for those things. The other thing we have here are these keys. Now, the only reason I even know what they are is because the back of the box shows that the easy open system with the keys. So then, I'm thinking somehow it integrates into this. And maybe you just kind of place this in here. Oh, there's one, maybe one for each side. And then maybe twist at the same time. Oh yeah. Oh wow. I really should read the instructions before I start doing these things, but anyway, so maybe this one should start on this side. I'm not sure that really makes it easier to open. Okay. So I'm unscrewing it there. Maybe that's kind of, you loosen it with that and then you just unscrew it. All right, so this has petroleum jelly already on here on the inside of this, so be careful with that. It's got a little bit of foam inside, a little pre-filter. Its filter material is in plastic. You're going to need to pull that out of the plastic before you start this up, or it will do you no good. Do you no good at all. So that's kind of interesting. It's got these small ceramic pieces on the inside here. It's got 2 bags of that. Oops, again with the silicone. And as I pull it out, we've got another filter, and it looks like just like something to kind of help pull this out. Really, really simple design. It looks like it's got a flow adjustment at the top. I'm not entirely sure how it works. I've been kind of fussing with it. I'm going to have to read the instructions and probably revisit it. I am looking for a project to put this on, and when I do that, I'll do, it'll be sort of a how to set this up video, if I don't do anything really crazy with it. Alright, but let's take a look at some of the cartridges before I put that all the way back on. Some of the other cartridges that it comes with. These don't look like much. They're sealed up here. Probably to keep them clean. I'm just going to go ahead and break this one open. Lubricant on O-ring. Lubricate the O-ring before startup with silicone or oil. There was a lot of lubricant on this one that was sealed up. They included some lubricant, some more lubricant to use. So that must be really important for keeping the seal watertight. Let's see what we got inside of here. This is a bioceramics pro, and these just look to be like the really big ceramics. There's a lot of debris in here, but these are just the larger ceramic rings, like big thick ceramic rings. Again, that comes in this plastic that you are going to have to pull out. I think I might just leave this out for a minute. And like the other one, it's got another little pre-filter down below. And it's vented down below. Whereas this one's solid. So the original unit is solid on the bottom, and this has openings because of course you're going to use it to attach. Now let me kind of play with this for a minute. say that went back in here. So ideally what would happen is you just screw this on. And I think what you do is just, as you want to add modules to this, you just screw one onto the other. Alright, so that just kind of screws on there, and then I guess the top of it just kind of migrates up to the next thing. So you can add, potentially, it says unlimited, but I imagine that there's like sort of a limit of like how much stuff you can push through. Depending on what you're doing, the trick will be getting it back up the hose. My guess is this core hose that's going all the way through is the return, and everything else is just going to kind of seep its way through there, and then it's going to suck out the bottom of this, just like every other canister filter. But yeah, ideally you could just keep building this, and we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the Xenomax Plus and see what that looks like. This looks to be the exact same thing that it came with. Although it's kind of all in one bag, whereas this was split amongst two bags. Yeah, if there's a difference in those two things, I can't really see it. But yeah, it came with this big bag of stuff. And yet another section of this filter that in theory we could just keep stacking up. It's quite the big black monolith there. So with all these things, it goes from kind of a mini canister filter to, you know, obviously a very slim but almost full-size canister filter, just depending on how many of these cartridges that you insert. There is a lot of flexibility there in the different things that you can accomplish from this. Especially if you needed to periodically add something to, I don't know, perhaps change water parameters. Maybe you're trying to make your pH go up a little bit or down a little bit, and you want to run it through some peat. Or maybe for when you want to breed, you want to add something to it, you know, some peat to kind of soften the water or something like that. And for the folks that want to do the like the anoxic filtration and make a BCB basket out of it, you can take one section of this and do it, or maybe two sections, or the whole thing, and easily use this. It's got the perfect kind of scenario. I guess what you'd want to do is you'd have to make sure that the water went all the way through, but you could easily, if you do that method where you take your cat litter and you put it in a bag or something, you could probably work it out and make one of these work for you real well. Or if you're not fully committed to it and you just want to try it as an experiment to see if it works, you could use this and have a regular canister filter and just buy one more container and see if adding that into the system makes any difference at all. I guess the big question for this will be, does it leak? When I see stuff, when I see it includes this and all that, and the extra messages on there, and the kind of the way this screws together, where I was kind of unsure about how this screws together, it makes me a little worried. It's definitely going to go into a pan if I put it underneath, put it under something until I develop some trust for it. Even filters that I trust a lot, sometimes I'll put a pan on them because as I work with them, water will come out. But it's definitely interesting. It's definitely different, something that I haven't seen before, and I thought you might be interested in seeing it. Boy, I hope you can see it at all. It just looks like a big black monolith on my screen. But yeah, it's a little bit translucent. You can kind of almost see through it, but not a lot. That's another thing that you don't really get from canister filters, is the ability to see what's going on inside of one. So that's kind of interesting. I think a lot of that's because you don't want to see the dirt and algae, or you don't want algae to grow and stuff like that. But it's tinted enough to where I don't think you're going to have a problem with like algae growing on there. unless you just shine a light right into it. But you can definitely kind of look in here and see what section has what type of filtration material in it. So that's kind of neat. And that's the Kani. It's this thing, all unboxed and set up in its full form. A lot of cool stuff. The hose looks good as far as I can tell. It's kind of hard to tell with hose, but it's nice and thick. It seems like a pretty decent quality hose. It says 14 to 18 millimeter on the side of it. Boy, that's nice of them to print that so large on the side of it. I appreciate that. Pretty cool. Looks like some cool products. I'll try to implement these into some future project this summer. And you'll be seeing it again. I'd be curious to know what you all think. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll put links in where you can find all this stuff and check it out for yourself if you wish. And folks, that's about all I have for this week's video. If you like this video, don't forget to click like on the way out. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this monster. And subscribe, because I'd love to see you again. Until next time, follow your bliss. Keep a clean tank. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.